Right off the top at 6, we bring you a CBS 4 News exclusive. Former Miami Congresswoman Ileana Ros-Lehtinen under federal investigation tonight. Good evening, I'm Elliot Rodriguez.
And I'm Lauren Pastrana. CBS 4 News has learned that the investigation focuses on whether the longtime representative from South Florida improperly used thousands of dollars in campaign money.
CBS 4 investigator Jim DeFede is joining us now with the exclusive details. Shocking to a lot of people, Jim.
Certainly is. I first started hearing about this about 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to refer to some notes because I want to make sure we get this absolutely right. As you said, the former Congresswoman Ileana Ros-Lehtinen is under federal investigation by the Justice Department for allegedly spending campaign money on personal trips and vacations for her and her family. Now, in recent weeks, we are now aware that former members of her staff have been subpoenaed to either provide records or appear before a grand jury regarding tens of thousands of dollars in expenditures by Ros-Lehtinen, including a 2017 trip to Walt Disney World with her children and grandchildren. The investigation is being run by the Public Integrity Section of the Justice Department in Washington, D.C. Now, Ileana declined a request for an interview, but she referred us to her attorney, Jeffrey Weiner, and we have a statement from him which we can put up now, and I'll read part of it. She and her former staff members and volunteers are cooperating fully with the Federal Election Commission and the Department of Justice. We are gathering the information requested by the Department of Justice and are confident that if bookkeeping errors were committed, they were due to negligence and not willful or intentional misconduct by the former Congresswoman or anyone on her staff or her accountants. As my team and I have investigated and studied the facts in this matter, we have not found any evidence whatsoever of intentional wrongdoing by Ileana or anyone on her behalf. That again from Jeff Weiner, her criminal defense attorney who's representing her in this federal probe. Now, let's sort of dig a little deeper, and I'll give you a little bit more background. As you know, Ileana Ros-Lehtinen announced in April 2017 that she was not going to run for re-election. After announcing she wasn't going to run for re-election, she transferred about $177,000 that she had accrued in her campaign account and moved it into a political action committee that she controlled. Now, we can put up a full screen with some of the expenditures. When you dig deeper into what that PAC spent money on, as you'll see, you can see the Walt Disney trip to Orlando costing nearly $4,000, hotel stay in New York over $10,000, several visits to the W Hotel on South Beach, running up bills upwards of $28,000, the Ritz-Carlton on Amelia Island. And on New Year's Eve 2018, just days before she left Congress, she had a huge dinner at Messamar Seafood Table in Coral Gables and ended up running up a $3,000 tab there. So, this is a serious investigation. It's being taken seriously, and it's just one of the things that we're learning about tonight.
Do we know how this investigation started?
So we do. So this started with, in part, and we need to give credit to Florida Politics website and Noah Pransky, a reporter. He reported on some of these questionable expenditures back in 2019. Following his report, raising questions as to whether or not this was appropriate, a group out of Washington, D.C., the Campaign Legal Center, ended up filing an ethics complaint and a FEC violation complaint with the Federal Elections Commission. Now, at some point, this got transferred over to the Department of Justice. We don't know if the FEC moved the case over to the Department of Justice because they thought that there was something more serious here, or if federal prosecutors in Washington just picked up on the case. But what is clear is that this is now under investigation. Now, neither the Justice Department nor the FEC will comment about any ongoing probe. And we have a picture of Ileana, so she wasn't really hiding this. We have a picture of her at Disney World with her kids and grandkids. This was something she posted on social media, and that's one of the things that drew early attention to her spending.
Jim, as far as the timeline, how far along in the investigation are we talking here?
Well, that's hard to tell. We know that it's been going on for at least several weeks, if not months. We know that they're still in that stage where they're issuing subpoenas, gathering records. Now, in talking to Jeffrey Weiner, what we have been told is that federal prosecutors in Washington will allow him to also make a presentation before they decide whether or not to proceed with criminal charges against Ileana Ros-Lehtinen. So at some point in the weeks or months to come, her team will actually make a presentation to the Justice Department and explain why they think this is okay and why they think the spending was either unintentional or whether or not it was just something that could be cleared up with a fine. It is a very high standard, a very high bar to bring criminal charges. You have to show that Ileana Ros-Lehtinen intentionally and willfully, with knowledge, spent this money when she knew she shouldn't have to. So again, we've seen cases like this recently. We've seen Duncan Hunter in California just earlier this year was sentenced to 11 months in prison after he was found spending campaign funds on vacations, theater tickets to help finance an extramarital affair. You also remember back in 2016, a congressman in Illinois had redecorated his office in a Downton Abbey themed motif. Well, that case was brought. He ended up settling that with a fine. So we're not sure how this will end. There's a good chance it could end up with a fine or some sort of administrative thing, but right now it's criminal liability for Ileana Ros-Lehtinen.
Jim, and I know you're trying to get reaction from Ileana Ros-Lehtinen. Hopefully we will hear from her directly. Jim DeFede, thank you for that investigation.